and gentlemen, this is Napoleon Total back again with some Shogun 2 Follow the Samurai Scramble for the Far East mod, and we are playing as Prussia. So last turn we left off kind of destroying the Northern Alliance with the taking of Mori. The French helped out, and we were successfully able to destroy the enemy. In this turn, the enemy navy, which is the Wakayama, who recently declared war on me, decides, you know what, they're gonna charge my ship. When I mean charge my ship, I mean literally charge my ship. Although I find during most of the battle, I was charging their ships because they keep avoiding me. As you can see, my 28 gun ship of a sloop of war is going to charge at the enemy, which is mostly made up of their extremely light ships. But once again, all these have been modded in by the development team, so thank you guys. I love these ships so much. The enemy ships are literally Sengoku Jidai era ships. They are not the strongest. As a matter of fact, they are not even considered strong. They're quite weak. Yeah, these ships will 100% suck compared to my ship, and we're actually gonna come into action. My ship is doing a thing called, as it slowly turns, this opens fire, and this is to minimize recoil. Not that it matters in the game, but historically, what ship commander will do to minimize recoil on a ship is to not have all the guns fire at the same time, but to have all the guns fire one at a time. And the idea was basically not to have the ship's gun recoil that bad, and therefore the ship won't start to tilt. And obviously tilting can possibly lead to the ship flipping over, which is a problem even for the best of ships. And speaking of ships, we're just essentially destroying the enemy, opening fire everything we got at the enemy ship. And I think as of right now, we're just going to use canister. So get prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. It was pretty decisive. The second we fired that shot, it was game over for them. They kind of just destroyed it. We captured 2 of their ships, and we literally have mounting up rest everywhere. Not that rebellions matter, but who cares? Just gonna do what I do, and that's called destroy the enemy. We're gonna fight them on the battlefield, and because they literally have a battle army compared to mine, I'm just gonna do an auto resolve, and it was quite successful. I decided not to chase the enemy down. We're just gonna move on key. Whatever army they have is probably not gonna be successful to take down Yamato, even if they have cannons. But yes, Yamashiro is within sight. The Yodo are at peace. Stuff like that. They have a massive army, 3 stacks, and I have my own massive armies. I have Ralph, who is in the north. I have Rolf, who is in the south, and I have Gunter, who's in the west. So yeah, that is a lot of armies. As you can see, Ralph is right here. Gunter is literally on the border, and we are preparing to invade the second we get I give the signal, my bad. And yes, as of right now, the most important enemy that I have is currently the Northern Alliance, which I am currently marching towards them on a pitch open battlefield. So yes, that should be wonderful. After this, I'm probably gonna be going to war with the Dutch, and the Northern Alliance decide to sally out, which I 100% agree with. Via them, I will look at my army and sally out. Although I will not fight the way that they would. Yeah. So anyway, my army is mostly made up of this colonial light infantry. My entire infantry is made up of this. My lifeguards are regrouping in Amori, so that's gonna take a long time. As you can see in the back, we have some cavalry, and this is not the colonial cavalry that you and I have all seen throughout this campaign, but legit lancers. These guys, as a matter of fact, are guard uhlans, which are another way to say lancers. Uhlans is, I think, a Hungarian term for lancers. Mostly the Russians, the Austrians, and the Austrians, and if I believe right, some of the Prussian units were called uhlans. As a matter of fact, this is a Prussian army, so of course this is a uhlan. The Prussians used uhlans. The enemy army is mostly made up of bows, even more bows, some guns, and that's it. Most of these guns, actually no, all of these guns are from 300 years ago, except for these guys. These guys are holding modern rifles. Are they gonna do anything against my guys? We'll see. These guys have bayonets on them, so it's gonna help them melee. But they're Dutch trained levies, so they're not gonna do a lot, but they're gonna do what they do. So yes, this does tell me that our enemies around us are starting to modernize, which is a problem. So we have to destroy them quick. And as a matter of fact, you can see as of right now we are opening fire. But after we do that, we move up again just to get a clearer shot because we are fighting in the woods. And fighting in the woods means that there's gonna be problems with your shooting. For me and for my enemy. The enemy on my flank is trying to mass all their troops against me on my flank, in which you can see in this scenario the enemy is just charging through the woods across my flank. I really don't have any answer for that because they're just literally running into my guys. There's nothing I could really do, but I decided just to hold my ground and do the best that I can. In the background you can see some of my cavalry moving, so that's going to be interesting. But my guys also decided to countercharge and do it in melee. And because these are bow samurai, we stand a high chance of winning. Dutch levies are terrible compared to us because we are trained by the state-of-the-art drill instructors, while the enemy is trained by mercenaries. So good luck, guys. We are definitely going to win this. Almost the same thing is happening on our left flank, in which, as you can see, I formed this massive L-shaped formation, and that is to maximize every gun on the enemy. We're just opening fire en masse, literally en masse. All across the board, we can just see shots being rained in on the enemy. The enemy once again is made out of bow infantry, and some Dutch guns, which is not really useful. Yes, my guys are just trying to open fire, but because of the terrain, it's pretty hard for them to open fire. But as you can see, once again, on this flank we have just a lot of bow samurai just charging my guys. I do not know what they were thinking, but like, might as well just charge in. My guys in this situation will be losing slightly because the enemy numbers, so we're not going to do so well. But elsewhere, we're just gunning them down. Some are even retreating as I speak, and yeah, most of them are going to get gunned down. On the flank, I have this massive cavalry charge of Uhlans charging straight at the enemy. I was a little bit confused in which I was charging myself. I decided to eventually go for this bow samurai, and we're just gonna charge in. And with this unit routing, the entire army literally starts to rout. Yeah, guard Uhlans are extremely terrifying if you know how to use them correctly. Knocking down 3 or 4 men is not a problem for these guys. These guys are the best trained horsemen in Europe, and they're gonna kill a lot of people. Now, as a matter of fact, as of right now, we're just gonna go around the battlefield and chase as many units as we can physically can. And yes, that is the battle. There's nothing much. We won a decisive victory. Yep. Can't really say anything about that. The Yudo are trying to move a lot of their armies out, which just gives me the pretext to literally declare war. I'm literally gonna declare war right after I auto-resolve this Ugo. Some of my units have been moving to Ungo just to help out. We're gonna do logistics, why not? And defender, because I need night battles. We're gonna auto-resolve, and we've lost no one, so that's wonderful. There is a Northern Alliance army, but I don't really care about that. Their faction is pretty much destroyed now. As a matter of fact, I think they're rebels. But elsewhere, in the south, yes, this is the south of Japan. Well, near the south of Japan, more like the center of Japan, but okay. My armies are preparing to invade. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna invade right now. As a matter of fact, I'm already at war because I declared war during the end turn sequence before I ended the turn. So yes, sorry I didn't quite show you guys, but we're just gonna invade. I literally run into 2 of his main stack armies. I can't be 100% sure I'll take that out, but I'm just gonna siege Yamashiro. I'm gonna put it to siege. I'm gonna wait for Gunter to march in. Ralph is going to be trying to hold that 2 armies if he can possibly. Although there are, if they go for Inga or Yamato, they're gonna have an easy time. Although I think I'm good at very good at defending. Gunther is gonna be taking Tamba, I think. And yeah, because they have 3 armies, not 2. My bad. 3 armies, great. If they mass 3 armies against one of my armies, it's gonna be a defeat no matter what I do. Although the enemy has a lot of numbers, we have a lot more better quality men, and yeah, we're gonna use that to our advantage. We're just gonna yeah, destroy them all. 914 is a lot better than what I can do once again. And yes, we're actually gonna siege out Yamashiro. And it took me a few seconds to figure out Yamashiro is actually Kyoto, so literally the former capital of Japan, the capital of the Shogunate at least. This battle is pretty interesting, and it's pretty not interesting, because you can see off the bat we have some lag. And the reason is quite simple. There's a lot of lag because this settlement has been modded in. And when I was playing the battle, there was also a lot of lag, so yeah. This settlement looks not that impressive. It doesn't look that well until you realize this settlement is 100% massive. As you can see, on the outer walls, well, they don't have walls. They have a ditch, and that's it. Like, they have a ditch, and that's it. I rather prefer the map of Kyoto itself. There's an in-game map called Kyoto, and I rather prefer that than this, which literally it's not even a castle. It's I don't know what it is, but it's terrible. But I technically guess Kyoto doesn't need to be defended because no enemy army has marched on Kyoto. That is, except for in the Sengoku Jidai. So yeah, this settlement is 100% massive. This is the inner, quote-unquote, inner keep, although it's just like a place. There's a lot of lag going on, so guys, I'm very sorry. And yeah, this map is 100% massive, which is why you can see some of my units stuttering. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of lag. But despite my numbers, the enemy is definitely gonna lose because I have way more troops and better troops. Most of the time, you will see my grenadiers just not my grenadiers, my lifeguards charge in and kill them. Technically, these lifeguards are considered way better than grenadiers, but the reason why I keep calling them grenadiers is because of their caps. They're massive grenadier-looking caps, which once again were traditions since Frederick the Great. So yes, that's pretty interesting. Elsewhere along the entire line, I have a lot of colonial line infantry, some Brunswick infantry in the mix, and yeah, the enemy is just made up of levies and militias, and that's it. I decided to go straight in, and we're just gonna cross, although there's a lot of lag, so once again guys, I'm very sorry. We're just gonna be charging in. Although this settlement looks pretty barren, I have to admit all the buildings look wonderful, so yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah, we're just gonna be charging in, and sorry guys, this lag is kind of unbearable. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I try to stay away from mods. Not that this mod is terrible or anything. This mod is wonderful, 100% wonderful. It's just that sometimes the mods are, how do I put it in a nice way? Sometimes they could be laggy. Yeah, it was probably the main reason why I stopped playing DEI, because after 3 or 4 times it kept crashing, and then I decided, you know what, never mind, I'm not gonna play DEI, Rome to Divide Imperial mod. I'm not gonna do that. This is another mod that I found very interesting. Obviously because they added in the European units. For those that are wanting a regular Fall of the Samurai, just tell me, and I'll try my best to play a faction that I actually like. But yes, as of right now, we are just opening fire on our enemies. Nothing much I can say through these little gaps. During this battle, I was deciding whether to move up my cannons and literally fire canister shot at my enemies, just like Napoleon did at against the Royalists, mowing them down with a whip of grape shot. But anyway, there's nothing much I can do. All I can do is literally fire at my enemies, and because they are so close, they're gonna take a lot of casualties. For some reason, I find that if you put one unit at a time, the lag actually goes down a little bit. As you can see in this scenario, there's only one unit of my unit, of course. The enemy unit, I don't know what the heck is going on, but the more friendly units that you have in one area, the more lag, which should be obvious, guys. Yeah, this militia decides to like walk all the way here, and then there's like, nope, we're not gonna charge it. So yes, elsewhere, we do have this melee going on against these militia. They decide to charge in, but they're going to be attacked on the flank by literally my lifeguards, and they're just going to instantly rout the second they are hit in the flank. My grenadiers during this entire time are just flanking and surrounding enemy units. As you can see, this poor unit here, which is literally more militia, I believe, is going to get charged literally within seconds, and they can't really get a shot off because of this corner, so I'm just going to charge straight in. And the enemy also helps me in that regards by literally also walking in to my guys, literally. It's not a pretty sight for them. I have more grenadiers in case this unit fails, but I have colonial line infantry in the back just to charge in. And yes, this siege is pretty much over at this point. This is one of their last units. Our grenadiers are going to do a wonderful job against these poor guys. Once again, I'm fighting less stuttering or lagging in this scenario, but it also could be my computer. It could be this map. Yes, but guys, I really prefer. Oh yeah, that's lag. I do prefer the original Kyoto map. It's pretty interesting. Multiple tiers. Actually, no, it's only 2 tiers, but the map is so large that it's pretty unique. So yes, can't really say anything about that. As this melee goes on, after I take Kyoto, I essentially win the game. So yeah, this is the last episode of my Prussian campaign. So thank you everyone for tuning in. The next episode, the next series to be exact, is about to be coming out very soon. Just as a spoiler, I'm not going to be playing as a European faction, so that's a pretty big spoiler of who I'm going to be playing as. To be honest with you, they're pretty unique. That's also a pretty big giveaway. They're pretty unique, and yeah. Once again, nice details to everything in this mod. I really am enjoying it. This mod is wonderful. Although lag could sometimes come in. And yes, anyway, we won the battle, and then, yeah. We've won the campaign, so hooray. We've captured 48 provinces, that's weird. I've captured a lot more than 48 provinces. I definitely captured more than 48 provinces. Well, I think it means that I captured 48 provinces via siege. Okay, that makes sense. Or actually no, capture 48 provinces fighting on the battlefield, which also does make sense. Heroes recruited. I didn't recruit any hero because I'm not playing, yeah, stuff like that. Units lost 9, units destroyed. Okay, yeah, this is pretty funny. Anyway, this is a battle that I did, against an AI. 2 or 3 AI armies, I forgot the exact number. But we are doing against an AI army, and we are just going to be destroying, well, not destroying, I'm just going to let this play in the background as I talk about what I love in this campaign. So, and once again, just to make sure, the AI in this battle is literally the 2 armies from the Netherlands. So let's get back to what I was talking about and what did I like about the campaign. First thing off the bat that I loved in the campaign was the fact that almost everything was pretty self-explanatory. I didn't have to do a lot of stuff. Half of it was because I followed the Samurai before. The other half is that this is not my first time playing a Shogun 2 battle. So it made things very simple. When I gonna give my first thoughts is that when I first started playing as the European armies, I thought I was gonna steamroll most Japanese factions, in the early game, yes, but in the late game, you'll find that numbers for the Japanese factions really do matter, and so that's gonna be a problem. I thought the ammunition count, the accuracy of the guns was gonna be extremely devastating. From what I learned in Fall of the Samurai, ends up this was not so devastating. Cavalry played important role as chasing down the enemy and only chasing down the enemy. The enemy cavalry played an important role against hampering me, but so then yes. So that's almost everything I like. There's a lot more things that I like, including the graphics, the units, obviously. The historical detail is, for every Total War game that I play, historical detail is the biggest. It kind of upsets me when some Total War games don't even have shouldn't have Spain as a country, and yet they have Spain as a country, so that's a problem. So what did I don't like? With all due respect, I pretty much loved most of it. There were some glitches here and there, so I can't really say, but then almost every Total War game has that. Crashes were unavoidable, but so that said, so is almost every Fall of the Samurai game. I haven't been paying close attention to this mod, but the last time I did this mod, the last time I played this mod was like what, 2 or 3 years? Well, actually no, 1 year ago. And it was pretty it was quite a different experience in the sense that it was not the same. One example was you can't even use naval bombardment. Back then, I couldn't even deploy agents. That was a bug, so yes. What else? Yeah, that is most of the things I didn't like about playing, and about that too. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop talking for a few seconds just to let you guys watch the battle, which is, at this point, my Gar Uhlans are charging into this Dutch East Indies infantry, so yeah. Now we are back. We are just looking at some Württemberg infantry opening fire on said enemy at point blank range. So what did I really watch? Here's the part in which I really liked. Another part now which I really liked. I literally just did what I didn't like. Now we're back to what I liked. Addition to the maps is great. The modding team added in Korea and China and the Russian Far East, which is wonderful. With Beta 11, Part 2 and Part 1, they did some massive overhauls with the units and how they perform. Multiplayer is a problem, in which just trying to going on to Discord and trying to fight a multiplayer battle is pretty hard. In the sense that if by any chance that the two players, like, put it simple, two players' betas or information is different, then it's gonna be 100% different. It's like a legit different mod. There's no way that you can play a multiplayer battle, which is why covering multiplayer battles in this mod is pretty hard, but it is also pretty interesting. Yeah, that's that. What else? Another thing that I liked is is that you just literally all the major factions, European factions. You're not missing one. We see on the battlefield here the Dutch. We have the Prussians, the French, the British, the Qing, the Joseon Kingdom. Yes, that's wonderful. Now, this is where I get to the part in which I don't like again. The first thing I don't like again is agents. Off the bat, I think that should be really prevalent by this time. Agents, I don't really like agents because agents are just a pain to deal with. I'm going to talk more about agents later, but with the updates, in which I know there's going to be a massive update, thanks to the creators, so give them cahoots to them. Sometimes artillery does bug out, so that's also a problem. What else? Yeah, there is a place in just saying, sometimes if you play multiplayer battles, AI battles against AIs, and if you have two factions, but you have 2 or 3 different factions, so in this battle that you're seeing, we have Prussia, which is me, commanding by me, and the Dutch, which is what you see right here on the screen, and literally what's gonna happen is that if I put France with the Netherlands, the unit models are gonna look funky, and that's not a good sign. So that's that. Is there anything else I want to talk about? No. So we're gonna talk about the update. The new update. A lot of stuff has been added in. The units that I've been using during my entire campaign was tier 1, and as tiers go on, obviously, as a matter of fact, the shots get more deadlier and deadlier. So that's scary. Oh yes. Another thing I didn't like was for some reason, the Prussian Navy, which the ships speak French, they don't speak German, which is, I think, is a problem. That's that. Other thing that I don't like, well, actually, more on the updates. So we already have different units for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. The higher tier you go up, the deadlier it is. As of right now, I think the modding team is working on adding in units for the Ever Victorious Army, new versions of that, for the Qing, and the Hui and the Shang armies for the Qing Empire. So that's pretty interesting. They're also adding in, and I know of a few days ago, that Japanese Imperial Army, so Meiji Restoration Army types, which is 100% wonderful. They're also adding in a bunch of new units for multiplayer. They recently added Austria for the multiplayer, not that I know of, because I won't be doing a lot of multiplayer battles, although it is, I will be looking at some multiplayer replays, which if I could, that'll be wonderful. Well, what else is going on? The update, by the way, for those that are wondering, is going to be in November. Late November, middle to late November is what I've been heard. So that's wonderful. I couldn't wait. What else is there to talk about? Yeah, besides that, I think they're also going to rework agents, which is wonderful. I think one person said that he was just going to delete them all. Yes, that's interesting. So, once again, this is one of the big mods. Well, it's not a big mod, but it's a very interesting mod that I have covered. It's very interesting for me because although I don't have the games like Napoleon Total War, although I could technically, it's pretty interesting. It's very interesting. It sets a good time frame between the Napoleonic Wars and the First World War, which is a part of history which I don't know a lot about. Obviously, I know about the Crimean War, stuff like that, the Franco-Prussian War, which is definitely on the history books. So yeah, but I'm more keen on Napoleonic warfare. Me personally, I'm more keen on Napoleonic warfare, ancient Japanese warfare. Sorry, the Sengoku Jidai. That's my specialty for Total War games, but I'm just not really. I was not really keen on the Victorian era. This mod pretty much changed a lot of stuff. This mod, this time period, as a matter of fact, is very interesting. You have ships in the background, which you see a naval battle between, once again, the Dutch and me as the Prussians. You have ships that are made out of iron. We have steam boilers. We have literal railroads, which are amazing. And yes, it's for a Total War series. This Shogun 2: Fall of the Samurai has covered how do I put it in a nice way? The most furthest extent. And yes, I am very keen on seeing that. That's very interesting for me, because you have to balance new technology and then line formation, which by the starting of World War One, the line formation will become 100% obsolete. People will stop marching in lines, and yeah, this is the Crimean War. By the way, the Crimean War, for those that are interested, was also during the Crimean War happened around this time, the Victorian era. It was the last time any army in the field wore dress uniforms into battle, or parade uniforms, is what I call, and that was really shown on the Russian armies, the French and the British armies. In particular, a good example is the Light Brigade, and yeah. Yes, that's that. Once again, I have to thank the modders for doing such an excellent job. Although I do want to see some changes, for example, adding in Austria, Belgium, Bavaria into the campaign. I know it's hard, but I know Izzy is working on the Carlist mod, and the Carlist mod is basically just set in Spain, and it literally is Spain going through their nationalist times. And to put that in a simple way, it's just literally everyone killing everyone again. So Spanish versus Spanish, Portuguese versus Portuguese, British versus French, the good old stuff. However, I am very interested to see a European battlefield, like the ones that you similar see in Napoleon Total War, Empire Total War, stuff like that will be very interesting. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of time. I also suggested in their Discord in which we should have a world map, which, however interesting that might sound, only Empire Total War ever did that. So yeah, we're going to take a long time to get a world map. It is possible, but it's going to take a long time. This I suggested it, I think, a year back, in which I first joined the Discord. So yes, obviously all of this stuff has to wait. But as of right now, I'm very enjoying the mod. Doing a lot of stuff, and when the new update hits, oh my god, a lot of new testing I have to do. Yes. So what else is there a problem of? Oh yes, rebellions is a problem, and it is kind of funny to see literally me taxing the heck out of these peasants. I mean, out of these people. And then they're not revolting, which is pretty interesting for me. Pretty funny too, because you technically have to realize I'm taxing the heck out of them, and then they're not doing anything. They're not revolting. So yes, during my Prussian campaign, we only saw one revolt, so that's interesting. Don't know really to say there. Yes, that's that. We are looking at the Dutch Navy just getting blown away as of right now. The Dutch Navy, yeah, has more ships than me, but I have ironclads, so that's problematic for the Dutch. Oh yes, back about ships. Ships, during this time were, increasingly modernized. I think the modders have this. The modders told me that it's hard to implement turrets on ironclads. So, for example, if we want to do the Monitor class battle ironclad, it will not work because the turrets will not turn. So technically, we are stuck to everything above the Warrior class, like Gloriale class for the French, Warrior for the British, of course, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that. I am interested in seeing way bigger ships, because all these ships, the ships that you see here as of right now that are burning, are pretty much small ships. By all European standards. The largest ship still back then had 110 guns, and yeah, that was used by the Ottoman Navy against the Russian fortress of Sevastopol. But anyway, I think I'm talking way too much for this episode. But key thing to know here is that I love where the mod is going, and yes, so thank you very much for watching. Once again, thank you very much for the modders, and see you in the next one. Bye. Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.